few weeks back, my mate Judah and I decided we wanted to go somewhere abroad, and came up with the idea of travelling to a place that we knew nothing about. But having finally found a place that we hadn't heard of, it turned out that Judah had work during the only available flights. So the idea was cancelled. Until now. I'm back, and it's time to try again. Okay, so the date is set from the 6th until the 10th. Using the website Skyscanner to find a cheap flight, I decided that quite simply, I'd book tickets to the first place which I hadn't heard of. First place I've not heard of is where we're gonna go. Okay, Athens. Okay, I've definitely heard of Athens. Let's look at France. Okay, I promise my geography skills aren't that bad, but I've never heard of Perpignan. Immediately, I'd found a destination, and just a short while later, for just £19 each, the flights were sorted. We're going to Perpignan.
Dude, that'd be pretty sick, actually.
A little over a week later, having convinced Judah that we were going to either Ireland or Belgium, we headed off for the airport. So Judah thinks we're going to Belgium. Little does he know, it's totally wrong.
What? Excited.
Where are we going?
We're going to Belgium, boys.
But where?
I have no idea in Belgium.
But he's about to find out. Remember that video we were going to shoot? Flying to a place we don't know anything about?
Yeah. I've never heard of this place.
Tell us now.
Well, I've never heard of it, so just excited, I guess.
We're going to Perpignan.
Perpignan.
And so began the latest adventure, as we killed time at the airport, awaiting our flight to a mysterious location in France. But it's fair to say that things weren't getting off to a very smooth start.
At this present moment, I'm just waiting for our operations control to put together a plan of how we get to Perpignan now.
So the flight has been cancelled, or delayed, we don't know.
This is a joke.
We'll see what happens, but it's not the best start to be fair. Thankfully, an hour later, we heard some good news.
There's an aircraft inbound from Barcelona which will land in approximately 25 minutes. You will embark that aircraft and that crew will then fly you down to Perpignan.
We might have been 2 hours late, but finally, we were back on track, as we headed into the air and eventually got our first sight of the place we were going to spend the next few days. Dude, imagine it was like an island. Surely it's near the sea. We've just flown over the sea, but we've got 5 minutes left till takeoff, until landing, so maybe we're not.
Look at those things. Dude, look.
There's mountains. This looks so nice.
I'm thinking we might be staying there, you know.
That has to be us, surely. At long last, we'd finally touched down in Perpignan.
Very clean.
It does seem clean, but we don't know where we're going. If we find the train station, we get to our accommodation, everything's good. But where is it? To no surprise, it turned out that this tiny airport had no train station. But we did find something else quite interesting. Okay, so if that's the Pyrenees, Orientals or however you say it, that means they're the Pyrenees Mountains. So on the other side of that is Spain. So we are like fully southern France.
Dude, this is sick.
But what wasn't so sick was that the final bus to the city was at 7:51. What time is it?
It's 8 o'clock, boys. We're walking.
So we are walking an hour and a half because we're too stingy to fork out on a taxi.
Yeah, dude, I'm not spending money.
Yeah, we had no choice but to get a taxi. 25 euros for a 5-minute taxi journey. There's no path on the road, so we had to get the taxi. There was no more buses, so we are not eating tonight.
No.
Sure, we might have been 25 euros down and without any food, but we were still here. And as we walked to our accommodation, we managed to get the first glimpse of where we'd be staying, before my camera batteries and our batteries finally gave in. After a good night's sleep, we woke up the next morning ready to check out the local area, which at this point we still knew next to nothing about. So we walked at random around our new neighbourhood, seeing what was in store, and we certainly weren't disappointed. This is so nice. So yesterday when we got here it was dark and we couldn't see anything, but now that we can see, the view is insane. So we've woken up this morning and basically walked about seeing what we found, and it looks quite nice. Sun's out as well, and we found some nice palace thing, whatever that is.
Yeah, I think it's the palace.
First impressions, they are so good. So let's see what else we find. First impressions were so good, With the sun out, stomachs full and energy high, we cruised around the city admiring this clear gem of a place.
Judah, give us an update please.
So guys, we're on our way to the beach. Now we have no idea where the beach is or where we're actually going. We're just walking in one direction to then find where the beach is.
And around every corner, this place just kept getting nicer.
So we've not found the beach, but we have found some cool plants and lizards. Pretty cool. It fully feels like we are in like Beverly Hills or something.
After a while strolling through the streets of the French Beverly Hills, we'd found the beach. And to top off the first day in Perpignan, we were at long last able to enjoy a sunny southern European beach. A beach where there were barely any other people, despite the amazing weather and the unique mountain view. To add to the uniqueness of this area, we also discovered some old fishing huts, overlooking a massive lagoon as well as the mountains, before heading back to the bus, now having a few ideas of what to do tomorrow. Bonjour.
This looks kind of fun. So this is legit just a mini train that gives you a tour of the city. We're getting on a train.
Getting on the train?
Yeah. Bang in the centre of town. £8 ticket. It
doesn't look... There it is, that white one.
That's a train, that's a train.
Sadly, things weren't off to a great start.
We were the only people on the train, so they decided not to go. It's actually kind of sad. We move on.
Instead, we made the most of our time by viewing the city on foot and seeing what we could find by ourselves.
Plan this morning was to get on that train, but we were the only people on it, so now we're in a museum, just trying to kill some time waiting for the next one to go. And we are the only people in here. That's pretty insane.
After exploring our own private natural history museum, we then went on to enjoy our own private art gallery as we began to take advantage of what was starting to feel like a city where we were the only tourists. But whilst we were busy enjoying ourselves here, we totally lost track of time. And you guessed it.
We missed the train. So we now have like an hour's wait for the next one, but we were hoping to go to Spain. So basically the train is in an hour, the journey takes an hour, and the train to Spain is in 2.5 hours. So 1 more hour of sightseeing, and I guess we'll try again.
Let's go.
This time, whilst killing more time, we found a park which had another unique feature.
Look at all these cacti.
Being full of cactus plants, this park was nothing like the ones we'd find at home in England. Although, as we did decide to finally head back for the train car bus tour thing, we hit another plot twist.
I need the toilet.
Yep, and there was clearly not going to be a toilet on the tour, so we had to detour.
Dude, this is not making the...
Is the toilet done?
Yeah, the toilet's
What do you mean it's not making the vlog? So we had to cancel our plan of getting on that little train around Perpignan. But, as I noticed on the first day, we are not that far away from the Spanish border. There's a train leaving in about 20 minutes. It doesn't go to Spain, but it goes exactly to the border. So from there, we should walk for about half an hour. Next thing you know, we should be in Spain.
We arrived in Cerber, a French town on the Spanish border. But yet again, it was
This
only
town
us here.
It's just totally dead. Even though there's loads of like nice restaurants, hotels, and a beach, there's like no one here.
It felt pretty amazing that despite being in a place that was so picturesque, hot and entertaining, we seemed to be the only people, no matter where we went.
This place looks nice, but this isn't what we're here for. We're here to go to Spain.
Yeah, I'm super tired. Let's go.
Let's go to Spain. Dude, look at the size of that hill we've got to climb.
We got this, bro. Come on.
We got this, bro.
Look at it. It's just up there.
So we set off, on a mountain hike that would eventually take us all the way to Spain.
There's a car just halfway down the mountain. I want to know the backstory to that.
The climb was actually not that easy, but being accompanied by some of the amazing Pyrenees mountains made it 10 times more enjoyable. And soon enough, we approached the top, as we spotted what seemed to be a border patrol office just ahead of us. And without our passports, we feared that this climb could have been about to fail. But then we realised it was certainly nothing to worry about.
Border check ain't open no more.
The border check was actually entirely abandoned as the ghost town vibe continued.
Not much to see. Look. Spain.
We're in Spain.
We've done it.
Although it turned out that this wasn't actually the border, but just an old border checkpoint closed down in 1995 with a history dating back to the Spanish Civil War in 1939. Soon enough though, we'd spotted the new border.
Is that the border?
The official Spanish border. We are so close to entering Spain, officially. We are in Spain. Boom.
And just like that, for the first time, we could say we'd visited Spain.
So Spain does look nice, but we need to get our train back, so we have a long hike. Time to get back down that mountain.
But instead of going down, we just kept finding things that encouraged us to stay up, before eventually we decided to head to the very top of the mountain.
Whoa! And now we're at the peak of the mountain.
And now, after such a long day, it was time to head back down.
We've got like 25 minutes till the train leaves. We can see it in the distance.
Well, there goes our train.
How do you even know that's our train?
I'm a psychic.
Talking nonsense again. We made it. Boom.
After a few hours of sleep, restricted by the loud and lively streets outside, I decided to wake up early and make the most of the last few hours we had in Perpignan.
I'm so tired. Bonjour.
I got onto a bus, heading into the middle of nowhere with the intention of simply relaxing in the French countryside, surrounded by the famous vineyards of southern France. And yeah, it was certainly a great way to end things.
It's such a beautiful country. I wish I had time to see some more of it, but sadly we're only here for 3 days and now it's time to go.
But this wasn't totally the end, as we still had one last thing we wanted to complete.
Today we made it.
Finally.
You don't say much on this.
I don't know what to say. I'm just enjoying the vibe.
Now, we could truly say that we'd completed the city, as the train car bus gave us a final farewell tour of the place, which for 3 days had been our home, and a great home too.
Not gonna lie, this is actually so fun. It's kind of like a kids roller coaster, but straight through the streets.
Visiting this city with no idea what we'd end up doing here could have risked being a bit of a disappointment, but clearly it wasn't. Without a doubt, we had found an absolute gem in France.
Not bad, you know.
Not bad.